Hello and welcome to the Online College of Coding video tutorial series. This is the third and final video of the series on Squirty Squid Intermediate in GameMaker. In this video we will be polishing off our game by adding some finishing touches. Before starting this video, it is recommended that you have seen the series Getting Started with GameMaker and completed the previous two videos. We basically already have a playable game, but there's a few more things that we can do to polish it off. The first thing we're going to do is make the level stop moving when the player dies. This will just look a little bit more realistic. To begin doing this, we're going to open up Obstacle Top and add a step event. It's just going to be a normal step event, and we're going to drag in an execute code action. Into the action we're going to type just a few lines of code. We're adding code here to check if game over is true. If the game is over, we're setting the obstacle's horizontal speed to 0 so that it stops moving. Press the tick to save the code we've just typed, and press the OK button to close the object Obstacle Top. Now we're going to open up the controller. In its step event, we're going to open up the execute a piece of code action and add a few more lines of code. Onto the end of the if statement already in this script, we're adding an else statement that will only be run if game over is true. If this is the case, we set both of the moving backgrounds in our room to have 0 horizontal speed. Now, save and close the script with the tick. And close the controller object. Let's test the game to see what we've done. The game's running as normal, but now, when the player dies, everything stops moving except the player. Excellent. Let's close the game and move on to the next thing. We're going to add rotation to the squid, just so that it looks like it's actually jumping up and facing up as it does so. We're going to open up the object squid, and into its press space event, open up the execute a piece of code and add in two variables. The first is called jump angle. It is the angle that the player faces when they jump up. Second is called rotation speed. This is how fast the player will rotate back down from the jump angle. Then down this if statement, so it can't happen when the game is over, the player's rotation is set to the jump angle. Now press the tick to save and close. Next we're going to go into the step event of the squid and edit its code execution action. We're going to add in another if statement. This if statement checks to see if the player has started playing yet. If they have, we start rotating the squid down to give it a falling effect. Now press the tick to save the script. Now let's close the squid object and press the green arrow to test the game. Now with this added rotation, the squid actually looks like it's jumping. Close the game, and we're next going to add a way to keep score. To keep score while the game runs, we're going to put an object in the gap between our two obstacle parts, and when the player collides with that, it'll register as 1 point. So let's create a sprite. Right click on the sprites folder, press create sprite. We're going to name it SPR_pass. And we're not going to load a sprite this time. We're going to choose edit sprite and then press insert an empty image, select it and choose the pencil, then go to the bucket fill, make sure that our left color is red, and then just left click to fill the image with red. Now we're going to stretch it, make sure that keep aspect ratio is not ticked, and we're going to change the size to 5 pixels wide by 200 pixels tall, then press OK and tick. Now press the tick once more to exit the sprite editor and set the origin to be in the center. Now press OK and close the sprite. We're going to create an object to go with the sprite called obj_pass. And we're going to set the sprite to be the sprite pass. And just like we did with the bottom object, in the previous tutorial, we're going to set its parent to be obstacle top. Now we're going to add a collision event with the squid. What this does is it's going to overwrite the top obstacles collision event that will end the game. Instead, we're going to add an execute code action here, and we won't end the game. What's going to happen is we're going to type score plus equals 1. That'll add 1 point onto the score, and then instance underscore destroy, which will destroy the pass object so that the player can only score once. Press the tick to save and close the script, and now press OK to close the object. We're going to go to the controller object in its create function. Underneath where we declare the game over variable, we're going to declare a new variable score that we just used in that previous script and set it to 0. We also create a variable called fnt for font and underscore numbers, giving it a value returned by the function font add sprite. We pass into this function a sprite called font numbers, which we haven't created yet, but we'll have to do that in a minute. And choose the tick to save the script. And now we're going to the alarm 1, and where we create the obstacles in the execute code action, we're going to create our pass object as well. The variable pass offset represents the distance behind the obstacle that we create our pass object. We then copy the instance create function from above and modify it so that it spawns the pass object at the right position, including the pass offset. Choose the tick to save the script and close the object controller. Now we're going to go and create another sprite, call it SPR font numbers. This is the sprite we've just used the name of in that script. We're going to load the sprite and click on SPR font numbers 0. We need 0 all the way through 9. Choose open. Now you should be able to count through them with the blue arrow. Now close the sprite. Now that this font is close the sprite, and now that we've created that sprite, the script in the controller can use it. Now open up the object controller, click add an event. We're going to add a draw event, just the top one, a normal draw, and execute a piece of code. This draw event is going to draw our score. So the first thing we do is set the draw color to be aqua, so that the font has an aqua color that fits into our game. We then set the draw font to be our font numbers. Then we use the draw text function to draw the score in the middle of the room with the score height variable. Now click OK, go to the create, and we just need to create the variable score height. Set it to 40, press the tick, and press the run arrow to test our game. As you can see, we've got the red pass object being created. It sits just behind the obstacle, so you have to make it all the way through to collect a point. And we've got our score drawing at the top of the screen. Now close the game and close the controller. The last thing that we will add to our game will be sound effects. To do this is rather simple. We need to import the sound file and tell them to play when they should. So let's create a new sound in the resource tree. Right click on the sounds folder, choose create sound, and we're going to give it the name SND for sound underscore music. Click the load button up here and navigate to soundmusic.ogg. Press open. You'll notice that GameMaker's already chosen a compressed attribute, and all we need to do is press OK. We're going to do this twice more for 2 more sounds. SND underscore pass, open, and choose the pass. Press OK. And finally, create one more sound, squirt. and open, choose the squirt sound, press open, and OK. Now that we have the sounds, we just have to choose when to play them. So we're going to open up the pass object, and in the collision with the squid event, double click on the execute code action, and just before the instance destroy, we're going to quickly add in here a line of code. The line of code that we add here with the audio play sound function simply just plays our pass sound every time we collide with it. Now choose OK to save the script and close the pass object. The next sound we'll add will be in the controller in its create event. Simply just at the bottom here, add a new line. This time when we call the audio play sound function, because we're playing the music that we want to repeat throughout the game, we use a true instead of a false as the repeat parameter. Now press OK to close the script and OK to close the controller object. And the final sound we're going to add will be in the squid object, the press space animation in its execute code action. We're going to add a little bit of code in here. To prevent any sound glitches, we use the audio is playing function to check whether the squirt sound is playing before we actually play it. Choose OK to save the script and OK again to close the squid object. Now press the green run arrow